In this video, we'll be talking about tips that might work for you in order to get a 130 or above on the Psych section of the MCAT. Now keep in mind, these are just things that worked for me. They might not work for you, but maybe you can at least try out different things and see what works for you. The first most important thing to know about this section is how memorization heavy it is. For the other three sections of the MCAT, you cannot get away with memorizing information, and that only takes you 50% of the way. You have to understand how things work. But for the Psych section, you can get away with memorizing a lot. So for the memorization part, I really recommend making flashcards. Oops, I spelled flashcards wrong. I really recommend making flashcards on either Anki or Quizlet. I personally preferred Quizlet for this because I could honestly review whichever sections I want at whichever time, whereas Anki kind of forces you to memorize words in the order that it gives it to you because of its spaced repetition algorithm. So that's why I preferred Quizlet for the purpose of Psych. I also was a big fan of kind of giving myself little on-paper tests where I would write all of the terms. The best way to find all these terms is actually by searching up the AAMC MCAT guide online, and it's like a 200-something paged PDF where it has all of the terms and all the topics you need to know for all of the four sections. And what I would do is I would just go to the Psych section and kind of mark up that PDF and just start writing out anything that I know about each of those terms and each of those topics that they expect you to know for that section. So I really recommend trying that out. Now, once you know as much as you can for the memorization, I really think that practice is way better than content, and I think that just reviewing content over and over again, just doing these terms over and over again, it's not going to help you learn, and it's not going to help you get questions right. So the way to get questions right is to jump right into practice. When I felt that I knew most of the terms, I felt that that was enough to jump right into practice. So I used to do a lot of free passages from Jack Weston. I used to have a lot of Altius and Blueprint exams, which I would just do the Psych section for, so that I'm not doing the full length, but just the Psych section. And then, of course, UWorld. And the way that I learned most of the Psych content, other than the stuff that I memorized previously, was through making mistakes. Because every time I got a question wrong, then I would be able to review all of the vocabulary used and all the terms used in that question and in the answer choices. So, bam, there you go. You just increase the amount of terms that you know just from doing practice problems. So that's why I think doing practice is way more important than just doing content and reviewing content over and over again, because you will learn from the questions themselves and you will learn through your mistakes. And soon, once you've done enough questions, now you know the content really well, and you're able to figure out the proper strategy that works for you for answering these questions. And that's why I have a whole separate slide for learn from your mistakes over here, because learning from your mistakes is the biggest way that you are going to improve your MCAT score on any section. Every single question that you get wrong, you should aim to understand why you got it wrong. Was it that you didn't know the definition? Did you confuse a term with another term? Were you stuck between two answers? Or did you misinterpret the question, kind of like a visual typo? Categorize your mistakes so that you know why you are making these mistakes. And don't just understand why the right answers are right. So even if you do get a question right, mark why you got it right. Did you know the definition? Did you use process of elimination and you got lucky? Mark why you got the question right as well. And don't just understand why right answers are right. Understand why wrong answers are wrong. Like I said before, you will increase your vocabulary by reviewing all of the wrong answers as well, because there's going to be more terms in the wrong answers as well, right? So you just review those terms and now you know more terms. So I really think it's important to, yes, I do have a slide about memorization because I do believe that Psych Soc is the most memorization heavy section of all that you can get away with just rote memorization. But if you really want to make sure that there's no scope for error and you want that 130 plus, I really think practice is greater than content. Jump right into practice, learn from your mistakes, and then finally, learning from your mistakes is really, really important because this is how you continue to improve. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section. Thank you so much.